The Democratic Republic of Congo's former army chief has been arrested on allegations of plotting to overthrow the government of President Felix Tshisekedi. Lieutenant General Christian Chiwewe, as well as several other military officers, were arrested on Wednesday night in the capital, Kinshasa. And SABC News correspondent Chris Ochamrenga joins us live from Kinshasa now in the Democratic Republic of Congo for the latest. Chris, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome. So what is the real story here? How true are these allegations of a planned coup by the former army chief alongside his other military officers?
Yes, so there has been no official communication from the DRC government about the arrest of the former army chief, Lieutenant General Christian Chiwewe. But there are a number of politicians who have spoken out and said that it is true that he was arrested on Wednesday night. He was picked by officers from the military intelligence, interrogated for a number of hours, and he was then detained in a military prison in Kinshasa. So there's still a lot that hasn't been told about this, but some people, security analysts who have spoken to, are saying it is linked to some allegations about him trying to organize a coup. You know, Lieutenant General Christian Chiwewe has been in the army for many years. He joined in the late 1990s. He rose through the ranks during the tenure of former President Joseph Kabila. Kabila has been living in exile in South Africa, and he recently returned to the DRC, the eastern part of DRC, which is held by the M23 rebels. He made a statement saying, blaming the current president Felix Tshisekedi of mismanaging the country and causing the mess, the conflict in eastern DRC. So many army officers who are linked to former President Joseph Kabila are suspected, to be part of this grand scheme of trying to topple the government of DRC. We're still waiting for more details from authorities, but this is a very sensitive issue because it involves very high-profile officials in the government. Alicia?
Yes, absolutely, Chris. So has this arrest not then raised any tension specifically among citizens on the ground, especially at the back of the recent agreement to silence those guns in the DRC? Obviously, the president there taking quite a bruise in terms of credibility in his stance in the recent tensions with the M23 rebels. Will this not then erupt into fresh protests in the country, especially those that still want against the president and could possibly see this arrest as a direct silencing of prominent or opposing voices within the DRC?
Well, this arrest has certainly triggered a lot of tension across the DRC. There are people who are saying that army officers from the region in southeast of the DRC, Katanga region, an area that's very rich in copper and cobalt deposits, are being targeted because that is the area where former President Joseph Kabila is coming from. There are others who are worried that if a high-profile military officer like Lieutenant General Christian Chiwewe can be arrested, what about the other low-ranking, the foot soldiers? So there's a lot of tension in the DRC, and this is all because of the conflict in eastern DRC. The war that has been dragged on since late 2021 has created a lot of tension in the DRC. A couple of years ago, the government in Kinshasa lifted a moratorium that they had placed on the death sentence, saying they were using it to punish Congolese soldiers who are collaborating with the rebels. So there have been a number of soldiers who have been sentenced to death. Recently, a couple of months ago, the Senate in DRC lifted the immunity of former President Joseph Kabila, saying that he had gone to the eastern DRC and was collaborating with the rebels. And so they feel that anyone who has some kind of links, or if they find any evidence about communication, they suspect them to be, trying to oust President Felix Tshisekedi. And this is all happening as talks are ongoing in Doha between the M23 rebels and the government side to try and end this conflict. They're trying to address the root causes of this conflict, which were not addressed in the US-brokered peace deal that was signed in Washington, D.C. a couple of weeks ago. Alicia?
Look, Chris, we understand, of course, that Chiwewe is currently detained at the Ndolo military prison. And, of course, you've alluded to the high-profile nature of this arrest, and also alluding to the fact that there hasn't been any official response from government. So we hear that rather incriminating evidence was actually found in the former military chief's person during the raid. So what exactly can you tell us about that? What exactly did they find?
Well, according to some sources who declined to be named, there were some phone conversations that were tapped, messages that were got from some soldiers, some of these arrested soldiers, General Chiwewe and others, between them and former President Joseph Kabila and the leader of the Congo River Alliance, which is a coalition that brings together a number of rebel groups, including the M23. The leader is known as Corneille Nangaa, and he has clearly stated his intentions to come and oust President Felix Tshisekedi from power. So that is what they are, the reports circulating are suggesting. But it hasn't been confirmed by the government officials. We are still waiting. And there's a lot of rumors that is circulating on social media about what exactly led to the arrest of this very senior army officer.